Hey guys, Handyman Keith here. I have this aluminum wheel that I refinished 3 times. Finally got it right. So I want to share some of my learnings with you. Maybe you can save a little time based on things that I had to go through. Alright, so these are from a 1997 Dodge Viper. They are aluminum wheels and they are clear coated. Most aluminum wheels that I've worked with in the past have a clear coating applied to them. So here's what I started with. You would see some white areas on the wheel, see, like right there, and then there would be some like wormhole looking things here. All right, none of that would clean up, and so what that actually is those are breaks in the clear where the aluminum under it has oxidized, and that's what gives you that white color. So the way you got to refinish that is, and it's not pleasant, but you got to strip the clear coat off of the wheel. And here's what I use to strip the clear coat off. That's what I used. Took 2, sometimes 3 coats. It says put it on there for 15 minutes and scrape. Once or twice I left it on overnight, got up the next day and scraped. It will not harm the aluminum. And it does work, so I will give that kudos. Alright, so after you get it all good and stripped to the clear, the next step in the process is to get you some sandpaper and take the road rash off. I started with probably 220. I didn't have much, so I started with like 220 and then worked up. If you've got a lot of road rash, you're going to be looking at using 120 grit sandpaper. So 120, 220, 320, 400, 600, then I think I jumped to 1,000, 1,500, and finally 2,000 to get it good and smooth. And then once I went through that process, I then used this stuff over here called Mother's Mag and Aluminum Polish. Works great. I would highly recommend that. So once you get to 2,000 grit, you switch over to the Mother's. I got me one of these little balls here, and I put the Mother's on the ball, and then I polished it. And it polished out really nice. I mean, these things were beautiful at that point. So the next thing I did was I then sprayed, using my HVLP, I then sprayed the clear on it. This was classic, smart, clear, just a basic clear, nothing special to it. But I put that on the wheel, and then afterwards it was a little rough in some places, so I then went out and started to polish and buff it, and probably got on it too hard. But anyway, I did not use an adhesion promoter, which was a mistake, because I think that contributed to where it started to come off. So that was a big bummer. And then it's back to the stripper, but it came off pretty easy. Stripped it again. At that point I applied the polish, the Mother's polish with the ball again, got it nice and shined up. And then my next step was to spray it with this Bulldog adhesion promoter right out of the can. But that was a problem too, and I'll tell you why. Because one, that Bulldog, it did not come out in a real fine mist. It almost just kind of globbed out. Not a very good nozzle on that Bulldog can. And the other thing that I had done is, after I had finished the polishing, I then used mineral spirits to clean the wheel before I put the Bulldog on. Big mistake, because when I sprayed this gloppy Bulldog adhesion promoter out, it streaked the wheel. It almost looked like it had water spots on it, and I thought, well, maybe that's not gonna stay after I apply the clear. But that didn't happen. You could just see these spots and streaks right through it, and so I had to go back again for the 3rd time. Back to the stripper again, back to the polish, and this time around I went to Napa and got this stuff right here. This is called virgin wash solvent. It's probably nothing more than lacquer thinner. But I did end up using this solvent here, and it gave it a little bit of streaking too. Not as much, but there was definitely some streaking there. So I let it sit overnight, went to bed, got up the next morning, and lo and behold, the streaking was gone. So I took a clean terry cloth, buffed the wheel some more, and it was really nice and shiny at that point. All right, so then I went and used this, and I've used this before. This is a Duplicolor adhesion promoter. Comes out very fine mist, as do all the Duplicolor paints. So right out of the can, I sprayed this onto the wheel, and then I used the Smart Classic Clear on top, and had no issues. This thing just looks beautiful. It's clear. It looks really nice. I had some guys say, why don't you use powder coating? But you know, powder coating probably lasts longer, but I'm not going to have this car out a lot. And I've also heard powder coating has kind of a thick texture, puts a real thick coating on. I wanted something just as clear as I could get, and thin, and something that would lay nice. So I'm real pleased with it, and hope this has helped you out some. If it has, give me a like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.